Okay, my humble pranams to all the divine souls who have gathered here today, and my gratitude to Patriji for bringing all of us together. So today we are actually covering chapter 5 and 6 of the Thousand Seeds of Joy by Ananda Karunesh. And without much ado, I have two beautiful guests all the way from India. One is Master Vasanti, and the other is Master Asha, and both are very familiar. I think we all are very familiar with both of them. So over to you, Master Vasanti, for your chapter, and then you can pass it over to Master Asha.
Thank you, Tina ma'am. My humble pranams to Brahmarshi Patri sir, Swarnalata madam, Swarnamala ma'am, and all the masters who have assembled here. Now I invite the energies of goddesses, gods, and all the masters to guide us in this session and all through our life. Thank you, masters. Yeah. Now we shall proceed with the chapter 5. The title of the chapter is The Joy of a New Creation. So this all of us know that this book is actually a conversation between Ananda Karunesh ji and goddesses. Now he is conversating with goddess Saraswati Devi. Now his question is Ananda Karunesh ji's question is, you are known both in Hindu and Buddhist pantheons as goddess of wisdom. He's telling to Saraswati Devi that you are known as goddesses of wisdom. So more specifically, Lord Brahma and you are been associated with ancient scriptures of Vedas. Can you tell us more about that? He's asking. So we all know that the scriptures, ancient scripture of the Vedas have been given to us by Lord Brahma, and Saraswati ji has also accompanied in this process. So she says that Brahma has inspired the beginning of the Vedas. The Vedas, we know, it consists of 4 sections: Rig Veda, Sama Veda, Yajur Veda, and Atharva Veda. So he has begun the Vedas, and I have inspired the ending of the Vedas, or Vedanta, Saraswati ji is saying. And actually, what is the purpose of creating the Vedas is the Lord Brahma has helped to create the illusion of the mind and the body. So we all know that we have all come from the unlimited the consciousness, so eternal consciousness. So there is an illusion of the mind and body. So duality has occurred all through the. Pardon, Master?
You can continue. I think there's a slight interruption is there.
Okay, some interruption was there. Okay, so she's saying that I have helped in the transcending of all the people, all the living beings in this planet. Okay, and that is through soul feelings and emptiness. So the scriptures are mainly created for the purpose of differentiating, to know the illusions of the mind, to get into the to create the illusions, and how to come out of that and how to transcend to higher levels. That has been guided by Saraswati Devi. So the Vedas, it was a science of manifestation through chanting and sacrificial rituals. So we know that the Vedas, they contain some mantras, chanting of mantras. It was even now in the current time, it is a practice that we have heard, and everywhere in temples and all, they chant mantras. So those mantras and the very specific mantras that has been mentioned in Vedas. So, and sacrificial rituals. So now even today we perform a lot of rituals in our religion, and mainly we see that they sacrifice animals too in the temple as some ritual. So actually earlier what happened is they used to sacrifice only herbs and flowers, not animals. So in the beginning. So now after a long time, it has been converted, manipulated, and everything has been done. So here she's saying that to Lord Brahma, some sages were born. Okay, his sons were sages. Then after that, the other hierarchy, it included the original Vedic priests. They were also very holy. They came under the priests of Lord Brahma's sons, those sages. They come under the sages, and they were original Vedic priests. And they used to come and seek the advices of these sages. They were very sincere ones. They would come and they would ask for help to alleviate some sufferings, to get rid of some sufferings, and manifest a desire to serve the greater good of all the humanity, for the good of the earth. They used to seek some for common goodness. They used to come and seek the help of the sages, and all these rituals, sacrifices. I told you earlier. So herbs and flowers were sacrificed, and mantras was chanted, so to please this divine beings. And from the mantras were chanted by the priest, would manifest from our divine essences based on the universal law of attraction. Nowadays, this term is very famous. Law of attraction, we listen everywhere. I mean, this is a very familiar term. So she's saying that based on that universal law of attraction, whatever was the purpose of the mantra, the chanting, that gets manifested. So over time, this Vedic priests, they got corrupted. They went into the trap of the material wealth and all. And this law of attraction, it also got corrupted. And some priests were, however, all the priests were not corrupted. Some of them were corrupted, and the others remained genuine, authentic. So what happened is the rituals, how they converted the rituals is to resonate with the minds of greedy and unwise. Whoever was wealthy person, to please them, all these rituals and these mantras were performed accordingly. So even now in temples, we see that where we have to give some dakshina or donation to the temples, and then they will get a very we will be allowed to go and visit idols, and all of this things happens now, even now, no? So wealthy people, they'll be allowed in a separate row and column and all. So in those days also, in the transition, the process, it happened that it got corrupted. So everything she says that it's very fine only because it is a soul's desire to know the contrast of everything. Only if we have darkness, we will realize the value of the light. So similarly, to know the contrast of all things. So corruption also, it was in one way, it was okay, because to know good versus bad. Only if bad exists, we'll know how good is valuable. So similarly, light and dark, spiritual versus material. Okay, so only when we fall into the trap of material world, then one time we'll realize, okay, all this is just fake. Only spiritual truth is exact. So we'll go into the spiritual path. So for that contrast only, all these things has happened, she says. Okay, then she says that as the Vedas were corrupted in India, so this has affected the whole the earth as a whole. So what happened is the ancient goddesses temple, in whichever part of the world it was there, so that those temples were destroyed. And everywhere fear and sorrow struck the whole of the earth. And she says that billions of brave souls incarnated. Why she is specifying brave souls here is because they are very open to come and incarnate in this Kali Yuga, so that they'll face all kind of sorrows and challenges and fear, and they will try to overcome them. So that is the challenge accepted by these souls. So they are very brave. So what we will think is we should live a luxurious life. We should have all wealth and prosperity, fame, everything, and we should not get into any of the troubles. But actually, only when difficult times arise, we will overcome that, and we'll know how to overcome that, and we'll guide others also, and our ascension process becomes complete. So here she's saying that the brave souls, many billions of brave souls, they have incarnated in this Kali Yuga willingly to fall in the trap of illusion of suffering in order to know all. One cannot remain happy forever and ever and ever. So happy and sorrowness are part of a life. Challenges are part of a life. So they have voluntarily, they have incarnated. And here she's saying that the patriarchal religions, earlier in the earlier chapters, we knew that matriarchal society was there. So based on the mother as the head of the family. So here patriarchal religions have come. So they are earlier there was a balance between feminine energy and masculine energy. Both the powers were considered equal. So now in this patriarchal society as well as patriarchal religions, what has happened is there was an imbalance. Okay, power was taken away from feminine energy and given to masculine dominated. So many wars were fought in the name of new religion. That is happening, even that is continuing even now, we know very well. So then she says that a strange thing happened is the goddesses hid themselves from the world. Okay, just imagine how the yuga has changed, and it has brought a sorrow and fear everywhere, so that the goddesses have hid themselves from the world. And they have then afterwards many gods and goddesses incarnated, like God Vishnu, Lord Vishnu. He had incarnated in Kali Yuga. Then as the Yuga descended with full force, some goddesses also, including myself, she's saying, that is Saraswati Devi herself, and many goddesses, they also started incarnating again and again to balance the flow, to balance the masculine as well as the feminine energies. Then now she's saying that the Kali Yuga is in its final chapter. It is end. So many goddesses are moving forward to bring joy of soul feelings back. So whatever joy was lost, it was replaced by fear and sorrow. Now to bring again this joy, the primordial joy. So these goddesses are helping a lot, she's saying. Then again, another Karuneshri is asking another question. Can you tell us more about your path in Vedanta? So she's saying that I would like to speak about an incarnation that has happened. So I came here with many soulmates. With that, we already in earlier chapters, we know that a soul group, a tribe groups, they have incarnated together, and their ascension into higher dimension towards enlightenment is what is the gods and goddesses of our religions. So she says that she has taken birth and she has gone through many lifetimes, and then again a new soul cycle was about to begin. Then all the soul tribe incarnated again, and this was to help the spiritual unfolding of this cycle. Soul cycle has started, and this is for spiritual of unfolding. Then she says that here in today's terms, they say twin flame or twin souls. I don't know how many of you have heard of that. That means that a soul, one soul, it divides into two and takes birth in two different places. That is called as twin souls or twin flames. So similarly, Saraswati Devi, she has taken, her soul has divided into two parts, a larger soul and another one is as Gayatri. So she has taken birth as Gayatri also. So she says that I existed as both, incarnated as both, as Saraswati Devi also, as well as Gayatri also. So in this, what happened is some Lord Brahma was there, and he wanted to perform Vedic ritual with Gayatri. So this actually, she knew that her soul is divided into two parts, but the higher soul, it got angry with this thing. Okay, but the Vedic ritual performed by Lord Brahma with Gayatri, that has angered Saraswati Devi. That is the higher soul of her or of herself. So then for a moment it is, for just a moment it is angered. Then that feeling, it transformed into soul feeling of passion. So after that, she co-created further things with futures of my soulmates. She's saying that along with other soulmates, she has combined and co-created many other things with the agreement of their higher selves. I mean, the soulmates are there. So with the consent and with the agreement of the higher selves of those souls, their soulmates, they have all agreed and they are performing all these actions. So so that she is giving a plan so that all the souls will fall into contrast and rise into enlightenment. So all Patriji used to say, we should not judge this is right and this is wrong. So this is good and this is bad. So similarly, they have to undergo all the situation, all the circumstances to note the contrast. So this is happening, and for the enlightenment, then she utters some words. Saraswati Ma is saying to her soulmates. So that words that were interpreted as curses, as if she is cursing her soulmates itself. So that was interpreted wrongly, falsely. It has been interpreted, she says. Okay, then again, another Karmishi is asking, were they not curses on your soulmates? Okay, so this has been interpreted as curse, but was that not curse, he's asking. So she's saying that at first I was angry, but that anger, it became boundless passion, and that has brought to the dissolution of my anger. My anger dissolved completely, and whatever words I had spoken, that was from my heart I had spoken. So out of that compassion, that passion I had spoken, whatever I had spoken, it was like a guidance to all the women to speak from their heart. So this has enabled all the women to speak from their heart. So that is nothing wrong in that, she's saying. Then she says that Lord Brahma could have opted for another path also. Instead of doing rituals with Gayatri, he could have opted other path also. But that also would have been a for the good of betterment of the soul itself. Now, she says that my path was to bring the timeless wisdom of Vedanta into the world. So, she's saying that my prophetical words, whatever words she has uttered, so her prophetical words were interpreted as curses, but that was because of deep knowing of what is going to happen, what will happen. So she's uttered that words. Then I was over and guided my soulmates to ascend to their higher selves in their human incarnation. So actually, they could we might doubt why they have incarnated in the earth, why they have to take form as humans. Instead, they could have stayed in the upper levels, whatever level they were in, whatever world they were in. So actually, what the thing is that in the earth, the ascension process is very quick and very fast. Once we take the incarnation as human being, so our enlightenment happens very quick and fast. So for that purpose, they have incarnated as human incarnations. And she says that this feeling, I mean, a deep knowing she had out of passion, she has spoken. So in that same way, Lord Jesus also spoke with that great passion in the temple of Jerusalem. So the same feeling he also had, she's saying. And his words also created a chain of events, and eventually as time passed, there was the emergence of the great religion of Christianity. So that passion has brought the Christianity to being. Okay, now she's saying that this such passion is creative, it is not destructive. Like the sexual passion within humans, we know that sexual passion creates life, birth of a child. So similarly, she's saying that this passion is creative, it is not destructive, it is creative. So that has birthed goddesses Durga and Kali Mata, and the gods angers it dissolved and transformed into passion. So this is our soulmates have, again they have incarnated as goddesses Durga, goddesses Kali and all to this they have incarnated as humans also, and as well as the goddesses. So now she's saying that trusting to say what is in the heart. For if one does not speak from the heart, does that not curse oneself and lay karma upon oneself? She's saying that if I had not spoken from the heart, that is a curse over myself, not cursing others, curse over myself and curse upon oneself, karma upon oneself. So she's saying that every person, they should speak from the heart. If they are not speaking from the heart, that will be a curse on themselves as well as their karma. Okay. So the words I had spoken allowed me to receive what I desired from my heart. So whatever she has decided, for the achievement of that, for allowing that words have allowed that to happen. Okay, now she's saying that her intimacy or her relationship with Lord Brahma was not just a woman relationship with a man. So it was something beyond that. It was based on yin and yang energy, she's saying. So in a yang energy, we might have seen that in a circle, half, one curve will be there with white and one curve will be there with black. Many of you might have seen. So that is one part is yin and one part is yang, they say. So like day and night, light and darkness. Similarly, that symbol represents that. So yin and yang is actually a sort of energy. So she is saying that this is like yin and yang energy, and she's saying that if we are going in a river and you are trying to row against the current of the river, you use your yang energy to fight the greater yang energy of the river. And suppose you are flowing with the flow of the river, so you remain balanced, and your yang energy it goes along with the greater yang energy of the yin energy of the river, she's saying. So we are not opposing and we are going by the flow of the energy. Okay, now I think that time's up, but I have to cover a few more points. Okay, next question. He's asking, Ananda Karnish ji is asking, were you enlightened when your anger transformed into passion? Okay, were you enlightened, and after or after that only you got enlightened? She's saying that yes, I was enlightened. All my 6 chakras were open, but only one chakra, the 7th chakra, it remained unopened. So the tiniest tail of my ego was sticking into that, and it did not allow the 7th chakra to open. So after that, after I incarnated as Gayatri and all, then after this happened, and all my 7 chakras got opened, and I got enlightened totally. So then again, Ananda Karnish is asking, so did the two of you become one in the moment after your accession, or were you still two? I mean, here is mentioning two, means one is Saraswati Devi and the other is Gayatri. So she's saying that both we were our inner oneness was not affected by the external form, though we had taken two external forms, that was not affected. Our inner oneness remained as it is. Then again he's saying that your story reminds me of different manifestation of goddesses Tara. So in Buddhism, actually in Buddhist scriptures, green Tara and white Tara are there, and they both manifested from Avalokiteshvara. It is being saying that tears of Avalokiteshvara that is manifested into green Tara and white Tara. So he's saying that this reminds me of that. Then she's saying that goddess is she's saying that if one is present in the emotion of sadness without any resistance, without resisting the sadness, then sadness dissolves and transforms into soul feeling of compassion. So whatever feeling is there, we should accept there and go by the flow of that, then we'll get transformed, she's saying. So the sadness will get transformed into a higher soul feeling of compassion, she's saying. And so compassion is creative and heals many people. So many heals. So compassion blesses both the giver and the receiver, and the suffering melts into joy, she's saying. Compassion cannot be realized if the ego either represses it's given. So represses means suppresses also. The emotion of sadness, if it is getting suppressed, or if one attaches himself or herself to that feeling of sadness, the compassion cannot be realized. So I told you we should agree, whatever feeling we have, the sadness, the fear, we should agree to that and we should let it go. Then when ego represses sadness, so when sadness is there and ego it is suppressing sadness, it will blind to the suffering of oneness and others. It becomes blind to the suffering of oneness and others. So if sadness is there and ego interferes in that, then it becomes suffering for oneself, and one cannot one becomes blind of oneself and others. So he cannot resonate with the suffering of anyone and his own sufferings, in his own suffering. So it creates sorrow and depression. The ego suppresses the sadness, and that in turn creates sorrow and depression. So we should let go all these things. It means the model, the essence of that sentence means that we should let go. Then she's saying that many bodhisattvas in the Buddhist religion, there are bodhisattvas. So many bodhisattvas, they say that before getting fully enlightened, a small portion of the residual of their ego is attached to their sadness. So they try to heal others, and by healing others to joy, they also attain enlightenment, she's saying. Okay, next question is, does compassion always have some sadness in it because it is created by the dissolution of sadness? Similarly, does passion always have some anger in it because it is created by the dissolution of anger? So we know that dissolution of anger leads to passion, dissolution of sadness leads to compassion. So he's saying that whether the qualities are even now it is present in this feeling, he's saying, after being transformed, even that feeling is present here, saying. So she's goddesses, she's saying, answering that if you throw the tiniest particle of a sand into a mighty ocean of pure water, not salty water, pure water, will that get impure? Will that water get impure? No, it will not. So similarly, the divine beings who have ascended, they know what is anger and what is sadness. So they have overcome all those feelings, so they know very well what is this. So soul feelings are what join sentient beings to the heavenly realms and beyond. So they know the higher beings, they know, they recognize suffering and this anger and all, sadness, everything, all the negative feelings, whatever we say. So they know, they have realized and they recognize and don't, they know how to come and respond to that. So she's saying that the soul feelings that is embedded in them. So those soul feelings are a connection between sentient beings. Sentient beings actually those beings, those creatures who have a central nervous system, those who can realize their senses. So like humans, animals and all, not plants, but humans, animals and all. So sentient beings. So this is connection. Soul feeling is a connection between the sentient beings and the heavenly realms, heavenly goddesses and all. So those divine beings who have already attained enlightenment, those who have completed all these feelings, they can manifest from their abode of emptiness into this realm of this earth, so that the worlds that are out of balance, to balance that, they might choose to manifest here, they might choose to reincarnate here. So then again she's saying that the words of passion that I had already spoken to Lord Brahma and all my soulmates, that has brought to the joy of new creation. So new creation is happening. And she's saying that these words helped manifest the incarnation of Lakshmi and Vishnu in the in the Hindu epics of Ramayana and Mahabharata. So they have incarnated because of this soul circle I told you. So because of that, the incarnation of the soulmates and herself, so that has led to goddesses Lakshmi and Lord Brahma Lord Vishnu, I'm sorry, Lord Vishnu and goddesses Lakshmi to incarnate in the earth, and the Ramayana and Mahabharata Hindu epics were formed, and the greater religion of Buddhism also it evolved. Then she says that out of their infinite compassion, the god and goddesses, they have completed the cycle, they have enlightened, but because of their greater compassion for helping others, they are incarnating again and again on this earth for the spiritual development of all the sentient beings. Then she says that goddesses Lakshmi, she had surrendered herself fully in the Ramayana because of she has quitted the abundance of palace life. She had come to enjoy the wild forest. So she knew from the soul feelings that true abundance, she could realize where true abundance lies, not in the palace or the luxurious life, but in the wild, but getting connected with the earth element. And then her first chakra opened, she's saying. And the joy is true abundance. The joy of true abundance that Mother Earth provides is the true abundance, she's saying. So she is considered the goddesses of abundance, Lakshmi Mata, goddesses Lakshmi. So then after that, she has also incarnated in Mahabharata, also many incarnations she had taken. So there she realized what love is. So as a love of maiden, as a love of matron, as a love of crone, she's saying. So what is maiden means unmarried lady is called maiden, and matron is married woman, and crone means old lady. So she has uh, lived her life at all the stages, and she has realized the love of all these as a feminine role. She has realized all this love. So she is the goddess of love also. She is a goddess of passion. She is the goddess of abundance. And so that has let her to let the heart chakra connect with the first chakra in that birth. Okay. Then she's saying that she has incarnated also as the life partner of Gautama Buddha, and there in that lifetime she had realized that the emptiness of all soul beings merge into oneness. Okay, so that is the lesson she has learned from that incarnation, she's saying. Okay, now she's saying that she's also the goddess of enlightenment. When she incarnated as the wife of Gautama Buddha, she knew that lesson, and so she is considered the goddesses of enlightenment also. Then again, for winding up, two more questions are there. So Ananda Karnesh is saying that okay, you have explained us all the incarnations of you and your soulmates. We are very blessed to listen to. We are very delighted to listen to you. So this shows that all humans have experienced, have to experience the contrast so that they can achieve higher levels. Then, okay, the last one is that, can you tell us more about contrast is saying? So she's saying that the polarity, the duality is in everything, even in the four elements of nature, it is there. So in human beings, in all the life forms, it is there, duality is there. The main polarity, the main duality, it was created because of the division of feminine and masculine. That has, but we know that the unlimited consciousness, it is neither female, neither feminine or masculine quality. It is both. So this duality was created here with the life forms. So man and female, women, masculine and feminine. So it exists in all the things and all the elements also, she's saying. So when this had created the wounded feminine and masculine energy because of the patriarchal society, she's saying. So now at present, what is happening is the ascended goddesses and other divine beings are pouring much light on earth, for because this is the transition time. So they are pouring their light, their energy, so that this wounded energy gets healed, and in both feminine and masculine energy gets healed, and um, to step out of the box of this wounded and masculine energy polarity, and the dance of the empowered feminine and empowered masculine to heal the earth and all other sentient beings. So to heal that wounding and to step into the dance of empowered. So both the feminine energy as well as masculine energy, the wounded part will be healed and they will be empowered, and that will in turn heal the whole earth and all the sentient beings who are present in the earth. So with this, we come to the end of this chapter, and Lourdes Saraswati Maharaj is saying that in the next chapter, that is part 2, another goddesses will come and conversate. I think it is Lakshmi Devi. I'm not sure. Somewhere it is being mentioned, but sorry. Yeah, Lakshmi Devi. Yeah. Next part, Lakshmi Devi will come and conversate with the author. Thank you, masters, for giving me this pleasant opportunity. And now I have already taken much of my time, I think, and I'll hand over to Asha ji to continue.
Yeah, thank you, Vasanti Master. First of all, great pranams to our Guru, Sri Brahma Shri Pitamaha Subhash Patriji, and all the astral masters and everybody. Namaste. So today, so far, Vasanti Madam has given the starting of how the patriarchal and matriarchal situation occurred in the entire universe as such, not just India or anywhere, because Lakshmi and Goddess Saraswati are speaking as whole in perspective. So continuing with that, the next part is truth about other goddesses like Eve, Mary, Sita. So first under that is Eve and Mary. So in this, we have like about 8 questions. Ananda Karun, the author, he asks 8 questions, and all of this is about uh, both Eve and Mary. So now, starting first question, I'll try my best how much we can cover. So first, the author says, and this whole conversation is between the author and Goddess Lakshmi. So he asks, like, why you have chosen this particular moment, like, why didn't you come some time ago, why later, why not later, but just now, why did you come, and why are you explaining all these things now to us? So she says, this moment is like how we say the right time that comes. So something like that. She's trying to explain that this moment is the moment that opens up to bring joy in teachings for all of us. Maybe, I mean, and on what basis I have to dig deep into that. But my understanding is, as even in our general talk, we say there is time for everything. So that's what she means. And also she says the aligning of stars per se, you can say, and also the signs of the past eons. So, what I understood from the past eons is from generations, for years and thousands of years that we have come, we have crossed so much. So, after crossing, all of us, like whether human beings or astral masters, all of us, we have had a learning with all this. So, with that, she says this is the right time. So, all the, and also she says earth as per se, the plane of earth has gone through so much of emotional instability. So bring that stability, now is the time. So now, when she says I'm here to give a lot of teachings and a lot of learnings to everybody to bring about, so that I wish that you manifest this into actually happening for whatever events or whatever each one of us have to do in our lives. So, and also she says, I'm here. Goddess Lakshmi, as we know, we do puja to her in different forms, and we pray to her whenever we have hardships in life. Because who doesn't want Lakshmi, right? Everyone wants Lakshmi. So she has come. She says, this is the time I've come to. Uh, Help human beings to overcome all the hardships of their lives, and as they go on with their lives. And also she says not only just me, but also other goddesses like Saraswati Mata and other goddesses from different cultures. Like, that's when this discussion about even Mary starts, when she mentions that even goddesses from different cultures are here at this point of time to help human beings with their learnings. So this kind of, the author says, like, see, we are lost, we all know we have come at a stage of Kali Yuga where we don't know, everywhere there is so much chaos and havoc, we don't know what's happening and what is right, what is wrong. A lot of us have this confusions. So he says, like, human beings as per se, we have lost our way. So what do? There is so much suffering everywhere. Is this because of our karma? And this is what have we, like, I understood, because maybe from ages and generations, all of us have done a lot of mistakes, or I don't know what this is. So she gives a beautiful example. Like, she says, imagine there is a winter storm, and if you stand in center of that storm, you can, they say it as eye of the storm. So one experiences the beauty of the storm, and when you stand in the center, you can feel the peace and quiet. That's what she says. I have not experienced, so I don't know. So she says there is peace and quiet, but instead what humans do, they stand away, they stand outside. Because why? Because we are so fearful, we are so restless, we are so chaotic. So this example, masters, what I understood was any suffering or any calamities, whether it's nature or our own personal life, we try to escape. So that's what I understood. I don't know, I may be wrong. So we try to escape from the situation, we try to match up, we try to see a shortcut route for that, something like that. Maybe she's pointing to that. So she says, stand in the heart of the situation, feel it, go through it. That's when you come out of such a situation, that's when you feel that peace. Okay, I came through this, so I can win over anything. So that's what I think she's mentioning. So, and how does that happen? How do you do that? Standing in the center of the storm, that is being in the heart of the situation, that is through surrender. Surrender and experiencing every moment and seeing the positivity even in that chaotic storm. So then and look forward to that. So see, they're always, while growing up, whenever we failed, we had a lot of hardships. I remember my elders used to say, think of it as a night. Once the night is over, day, there is always a day, there's always a light. After darkness, light is always there. That's what she says. Once you cross the storm, there is this beautiful spring waiting for you. That is the positivity. Good days are waiting for you. So this, whatever he asks about karmic cycle or karma, she says this is just a small part of this journey. So go through it. There is always light ahead. There is, spring waiting for you. That's what she says. And this is what I understood out of this, because each sentence gives loads of information, loads of tattvas. So this is some basic stuff what I understood. So moving forward, what he says is, do we have to suffer so much? Why do we have to suffer so much? To understand this, to go through this, is suffering really needed? That's what he asks. So she says suffering is a process of learning. So you learn. Suffering is there in everything. Like when the child is born, right? When the mother is carrying, mother goes through so much. When the baby is in her uterus, she goes through, whether it's physical, emotional, different kinds of challenges the mom faces. We all know, being women, we all know. So she says, there is no peace for the mom, she goes through so much. But in past generations, in olden days, she used to have a lot of rest, she used to enjoy the gestation period. But over the time, these generations now, being she doesn't mention like working women as such, but I understood that being a working woman and being pregnant when you're working, so that is whole different challenge and scenario. So she mentions that now people have forgotten, how to really relax, how to, during, because there's a very special period in a woman's life, and even for the baby when she's pregnant. So she says the race itself have forgotten their teachings of their elders and ancestors, how you have to take care of your kids. We all know this today's situation. So then she says, even the kids, they just get the, little tidbits of happiness. Imagine when you are just enjoying in the nature the entire gestation period, to that mother, to the mother who is going through all this grind of the life. So even that effect goes to the kid. So that's what she's trying to say. There is so much difference from the past to the now. And how did this happen? Because of the patriarchal society, because of the rigidity, why we are in this patriarchal society. And this, she explains this as a rigidity, and where he's trying to the minds are narrow minded, and we are not open to all kinds of, there is so much around us, nature and cosmos, there's so much pouring on us, but we are not open. Why we cannot respond to that? It's not that nature or universe is not giving us, we are not open for that, to receive that. Maybe if we receive those energies, we might come out of these chaos and restlessness in our life. That's what she's trying to tell. And this rigidity and this not being open is creating diseases, whether it's in body, spirit, soul, wherever. And this again is hurting Mother Earth. I think we all know the best example for this is we just came out of the pandemic. So how this, I honestly believe, and even Patriji has mentioned it many times, this was healing for Mother Earth. What Corona happened, yes, it was a disaster as per se when we look at it on the outer side of it. But the actual reason is how much we hurt our Mother Earth. So it's just, she took this on to heal herself. So this was the best, we can understand. We just came out of that. So she says that once, she says, I've been giving knowledge over the generations, so that we help the humans to bear the fruit of different kind. This fruit of different kind, she's talking about the positivity. She's talking about the goodness around us. So then at this point, when she mentions this bearing the fruit, the author says, he comes up with Eve. He takes the example of Eve, and he says there is a belief that Eve has eaten forbidden fruit from the tree of knowledge, and this has caused men to not believe women. And that's how, when man didn't lost belief in women, he started controlling her. So, and that he asked, like, is this how the patriarchy started? And she said, no, no, no. I mean, she tells that's kind of a metaphor, but she says Eve never ate the forbidden fruit. This is over the generations. People have changed the original story, changed, manipulated it, and they have started, giving incorrect belief system, putting incorrect belief system in whole human race. Honestly, masters, while reading this part of the story, it was for this book as such is a challenge for me, but it became harder for me to understand this particular question because as such we have for years from our childhood we have learned one thing, so to unlearn that and to really put a new learning in that place in our brain, it was really hard for us. I mean, at least for me, because we know that we've been hearing Eve ate that and there was a serpent and that's what caused all this. But it's not true. That's what Goddess Lakshmi says. It's not true. She is a enlightened soul. She is a super master who knows if I eat this, there will be a separation. And what is this separation? This is a separation for a man to achieve a higher spiritual consciousness. And why would an enlightened soul like Eve do something like that when she knows that? That kind of shocks the author, and he says, "Oh, really? I mean, is Eve really a enlightened soul?" He asked. She said, "Yes." She was a kind of a Eve being in a garden, and this garden is a beautiful place where everything is joyous, everything is alive, everything is full of life. And why would such a soul be living in such a place would destroy something? That's what she says. She was the caretaker. She was a higher conscious soul. She was a caretaker of angels. She spoke to angels. She wanted something to be manifested. She asked the angels, and also she helped angels because she was a higher conscious soul. And even both Adam and Eve lived in a very harmonious and joyous environment. Then it is hardly that she would do anything like that. So but later a point came when Adam and Eve both had to move on to a higher spiritual realm. So it is told that they did not choose to go to the higher spiritual realm, but eating that fruit, they kind of created everything started, the whole human race with all the disease and whatnot, everything, illusions, Maya, and everything started. But she said, no, that's not correct. So the forbidden fruit is used as a metaphor. She says for man to disempower women, so that, and with this women started feeling guilty, because feminine energy is a, there is nothing like feminine high or masculine high, it's both are equal. So she says women could not enjoy this feminine path of spiritual awakening, and this kind of started this whole patriarchy in this universe. So then the story goes much deeper into this, and the author says, what about the serpent? Because we all know Eve, Adam, serpent story. So she mentions the serpent is a sign of Egyptian god Thoth. And there one sentence about Thoth is an Egyptian god who came to earth or even higher planes, where he was a messenger of God who taught so many things. Like he taught writing, he taught scribe, I mean scriptures, you kind of do the sculptures, he taught even that. He was the master of so many languages. He was the reason so many languages came to the earth. So he is Thoth. So why would anybody who has given so much cause harm? Right? It's just simple common sense, but it's been manipulated. See, I mean, it is so scary, masters, to even think of these things. But she says this serpent has been told as a lower form, and this low form of energy, and this low form of energy they've connected to the woman. So that is what created the patriarchal supremacy. Why connected to the woman? No, it's not. They say they've made it as women's evil nature. No, so Lakshmi says good and evil is both equal in every form of life. Every form of life. So, however, all the beings here have both higher energies and lower energies. And she also says this serpent, what we say that he's caused harm because of his poisonous nature. The same poison is used for healing purposes also. That means this poison is good as well as bad. So she's tried to gives this example, and also she gives one more example where Ganesha is, we know all know the Ganesha story where his head was cut and he elephant head was placed on Ganesha, and she says why animal head was used, because elephant is a significance of what do you say, the longevity, posterity, and wisdom and gentleness. This is the significance, and this is the truth everywhere. This is the truth. And she says, and coming generations, now that we have all learned wrong things, about Eve and all the story that we know, she says moving forward, further generations, this is going to change. Actual story and actual what happened is going to come to light. And that will, so with this, Master, I'll just take one more question. I think we have like 3 or 4 more questions. I'll just take one more question and end, and I'll continue the next week if that's okay. Okay, sure. So then she says, now we know about Eve. Now the author says like, okay, story of Eve, and we all say that was the actual first sin that Eve committed, which led all these things. Then he says like, okay, this reminds me of Magdalene, of Christianity, where Jesus and I honestly didn't even know there was somebody like Mary Magdalene. And with this story, I learned so much about that. The lady here, so he says in Christianity there's a mention of Jesus and Mary Magdalene, and Magdalene has been portrayed as the, a sinner by Pope Gregory, Saint Gregory. This was sometime in, I think, 5th century. So he says that she's been treated as a prostitute for Jesus. So where, how should we understand this? So he asks like, can you tell something about her life? I mean, what do I understand this? How is she a role in Jesus' life? So at this point, Lakshmi says, again, this is a misconception, this is a misunderstanding that has happened. Mary is one of the sister in the family of several girls. Maybe the family was full of girls. And she says she had a very high intuition. And with this intuition, she could manifest, like she thinks something, it happens in life. So that means she was a very higher conscious soul, higher energy soul. But again, why Jesus chose her? So Jesus chose her because we all know Jesus is also very higher conscious soul. So he chose her because she was kind of a spiritual partner to him. With not everybody you can, talk spirituality. I think at that time also, when there was so much chaos in that Middle East place, I think Jesus, we all know, he went through a lot of suffering. So she was a person with whom he could really discuss a lot of things. And here Lakshmi says everybody believes that Joseph is the one, that is Jesus' father, is the one who taught Jesus so many things, which Jesus gave it as teachings. Or even God, Jesus had this enlightenment and he gave the teachings. But here Lakshmi says not only that, even Mary Magdalene, she was the one who told Jesus so many things, and he used those words of Mary as teachings while talking to people. And this lady was extremely musically inclined. She was very talented. She had no fear. She had nothing to do with anything. That means she was spiritually very high soul. She didn't treat, she neither got scared, neither was, very joyous or got very excited about anything. She was a level-headed human being. That's what I understood with this. So with this, she says Jesus chose her, he listened to her advices, he took her teachings, and he taught so many things. And Mary was a witness of Jesus crucifixion. So, and they had, and I didn't know Jesus had kids, honestly, I didn't know. I learned that Mary Magdalene and Jesus had kids. She took away her children away from all this chaos, because we know what Jesus was going through. So she took away her children and raised them by herself, in a very peaceful and traditional, and with all the values, what all she can give to the children with her, as a mother. So, as I would say, as a divine soul, she gave the best she can to the children. So, masters, I have few more questions, maybe like, oh no, actually, I have last. Can I do this, or shall I put it to the next session, ma'am? You want me to put it in next session? It's already 6:32. I won't take. Okay,
Next
so
session, because we need
okay.
to have some time to discussion.
I understand. Yeah. So, okay. So, masters, this is where we stop today. So as I told earlier, I learned a lot, and now I'm in the process